Historic trends for both the Pac-12 and Big Ten championship games. Analysis of all the pertinent line moves for this weekend in college football's conference championship weekend. Which team you want to sell high on, which team you want to buy low on, and a free client play. It's all coming to you here in the Power 5. How's it going, everybody? I am Bryan Power here on WagerTalk TV. And as we always do here, we're going to start by breaking open the WagerTalk.com live odds screen to see how the market is moving for this weekend's conference championship games. And in the Big 12 championship game, we'll start there. Texas, they got as high as minus 16 earlier in the week. The Longhorns opened minus 12.5 against Oklahoma State, a team I don't think very highly of, but there's been some buyback down to minus 15. Now, not only is Texas 2-6 straight up the last 8 meetings with Oklahoma State, but you'd have to go all the way back to 2014 to find the last time they beat the Cowboys by at least 2 touchdowns. But I'll go back to my appearance on Wager Talk today earlier this week. Oklahoma State, a lot of positive fourth down and turnover variance went their way during a 7-1 surge to end the regular season. And that one loss, 45-3 at UCF. They trailed BYU 24-6 at the half last Saturday. Second straight week the Cowboys have had to rally from 14-plus point deficit. They were outgained on a per-play basis over the course of the season and are only plus 10.2 yards per game. Handing the ball to running back Ollie Gordon, the nation's leading rusher, may not work here against a Texas defense that's hard to run on. I expect the Longhorns to put up a lot of points here against an OSU defense that is 116th in the country in yards per play allowed. Remember, guys, Texas is off a 57-7 win over Texas Tech and looking to impress the College Football Playoff Committee. They may need style points. We've also seen a bit of steam hit Appalachian State in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game against Troy. They're down to plus 4.5 after opening plus 6. I'll go back to something I said on Thursday's edition of the College Football Kickoff Show. App State has been outscored by more than 3 points in regulation just one time all season, and that was a game against Old Dominion where they allowed a touchdown and 2-point conversion in the final minute. The Mountaineers offense, top 30 in the country in yards per play, and the defense allowed just 4.53 yards per play in their 4 November games. But keep in mind, on the other side, Troy has won 9 straight, 7 of those by at least 18 points. Their defense has given up just 2 rushing touchdowns over the last 7 games. But once again, bettors believing in Appalachian State, the underdog, much like they're believing in Texas, the favorite in the Big 12 championship game. And then, is anyone taking Florida State in the ACC championship down to minus 1.5 versus Louisville? And this is all because of the fact Tate Rodemaker is in at quarterback in place of an injured Jordan Travis. In fact, there's some rumors that Rodemaker may have a concussion. That would be big-time trouble for the Seminoles. But remember, they did cover last week at Florida despite not so efficient offensive numbers. Louisville played a very weak schedule, is not very good away from home, and just lost to Kentucky, a team that had dropped 5 of 6 in SEC play. Honestly, the Noles feel like a team that should be in our buy low segment. We'll, of course, get to that buy low segment momentarily. But first, let's talk about sell high. And another interesting game with line movement is the SEC championship between Georgia and Alabama. And I have to wonder, what would this number be had Alabama not struggled last week in the Iron Bowl? I think it'd be a little bit lower. So I'm selling high on Georgia as a favorite of more than a field goal in this one because not only was Bama 8-3 against the spread prior to last week's non-cover against Auburn, but this is going to be just the second time since 2010 that the Crimson Tide are an underdog of 4 or more points. The other time, you ask? How about 2 years ago in the SEC championship game against Georgia, a game Saban and the Tide won outright as 6.5-point dogs to make the college football playoff? I'm going to have more great stats like that coming up in our Stat of the Week section. But let's talk about buy low. I said Florida State might be a candidate here, but how about SMU as a dog at Tulane in the AAC championship game? The big story here is the absence of Mustangs quarterback Preston Stone. But SMU is a better team than Tulane this season on both sides of the ball. Back in the market move section, I talked about how odds makers might be overreacting to the backup quarterback situation with Florida State. I think the same is true here with SMU, who I would have made a road favorite if Stone was playing. He's not. Backup Kevin Jennings, though, a 3-star recruit. A lot of positive things I'm hearing about him. He also has 3 different backs to hand it to that average at least 5.2 yards per carry. Tulane, not as good as they were last year when they went 12-2 and beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. They have struggled to win by margin this season. So I am buying low on SMU in the AAC championship game. Which teams are you looking to buy low and sell high on for Saturday? go ahead, let me know down in the comments section below. I'll be glad to respond. Also, while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button, give the Power 5 a thumbs up. And if you already haven't done so, be sure to subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. I've already dropped the NFL version of the Power 5. Now, on to our stat of the week, and it's a bonus this week. I've got two stats for you. Two, I couldn't decide on one, so I'm going to give them both to you. Pac-12 championship game tonight, Friday, in Vegas. Much has been made of Washington being such a prohibitive dog to Oregon. There have been only two previous instances of an undefeated Power 5 team getting 9.5 or more in a conference championship game. That was 2008 Alabama versus Florida, 2020 Notre Dame versus Clemson. Both those underdogs not only lost straight up, they failed to cover. So history not smiling on Washington here in a game where the winner will certainly move to the college football playoff. Then we got to talk about the Big Ten championship game as well. Michigan and Iowa, total of 35. It's the lowest for any conference championship game in history. And here's your second awesome stat here. This is just the 27th game in college football history where the spread is greater than 21 and the total is 40.5 or lower. I got a hoot out of the fact that some sports books are offering Iowa over under half a point scored in the first half. We shall see. Michigan probably in the college football playoff, even if they were to lose here, but certainly they don't want to leave it up to the committee. I'm going to be finishing up the Power 5 momentarily with our Power Play of the Week. It's a free client selection. But I do want to let you know I have a 5% max bet in college football this week. You may recall last weekend's 5% play in the NFL. That was Bills plus 3.5, a winner by the hook. I went 4-1 last Saturday in college football. Oh, by the way, hit 67% last year in the Bulls. NFL's a 12-5 run, 73%, 8-3 the last 2 weeks. So it's a great time to get on board with a 3-day all access, which gives you every release I put out in every sport for 3 full days. You could save $15 off that package, which normally runs $69, by using the coupon code 15OFF3 at checkout. That's 15OFF3 at checkout. And lastly, let's wrap it up with the Power Play of the Week. We are hitting an 8th conference championship game here in the Power 5 today. And I'm going to say take Toledo under its team total of 26.5. That's minus 105. Their opponents, Miami, can play defense, and they'll have to because the Redhawks offense isn't very good. Now, these teams met in the regular season. Toledo was held to 21 points. I don't think they're going to score more this time around, and they probably, again, won't have to. Miami is bad offensively. So what I like about taking Toledo under the team total here, because I do lean to Miami, believe it or not, despite the impotent offense, but I like the team total under better than taking the points here with Miami because in case if Miami's offense doesn't do anything, I think we're still in good shape. I believe in the Miami defense holding Toledo under 26.5 points, and that is your Power Play of the Week, and that does it for the Power 5 for Conference Championship Weekend in college football. Follow me on X, it's formerly Twitter, at Bryan Power _wins. Remember that coupon code 15OFF3. That's 15OFF3 when picking up your 3-day all access. WT.buzz/BP. Got a 5% play in college football currently available. Until next time, let's cash some tickets.